Well, guys, what's up? Welcome to my first show. Own It stands for, OWN stands for Overwatch World News. We're your boy G40, aka Sean. Talk about, the news, the world events, social stuff, things that I want to talk about what's going on in the world. And as I play Overwatch, this is one of my favorite games. Um, a little bit by myself. I like playing healers, sometimes tanks. Um, and I'm going to try and see if I can find a few people to play with me on Overwatch. As I talk to the world, talk about my opinions about the world. It's going to be a little challenging because playing video games and talk about heavy subjects or just whatever. And sometimes I'll probably just shoot the shit. If I can find someone to join me in the show, we would just shoot the shit and things like that. But to the topic of the day, police reform, and are we making any progress? Full disclaimer, I don't know if we can ever make any progress. I think we crossed the event horizon. What does that mean? It's a scientific term, but basically what it means that hey, we crossed the path of no return, and I don't know. I don't believe that there's any way we can come back from the state that we're in today. But let's talk about policing and police reform and what we can do. If it's possible, even though I believe that we cross the event horizon, whatever. But before we talk about what can we do, I think it's important to understand how we came to be. And before I select a game, I just want to drop 2 points of how we got here. The first point is the over militarization of the police, and secondly is our history of racism. It played a big part. Racist policies that create this scenario where over policing is like the lowest hanging fruit, and I'll explain later. So the first thing is the over militarization of the police, and the very beginning of the police. The community expectations of the police way back in the days. In the beginning of this of America as a country, as a nation, the police were more or less are part of the community. They see themselves as the community. But as time went along, the policing in this country are more or less trained to be like soldiers, as if they're going off the wall or going off to war, whereas a us versus them scenario. And moving to where we are today, police are over militarized, and not so much just their gear and the guns and the tanks, but more or less their training and the ideology and the culture. Whereas the cop, once they're on the street, on the beat, they see it's almost as if someone is doing something wrong or perceived to do something wrong, someone seems to be suspicious, they're treating that person as if they are a combatant. And a lot of officers are trained, hey, protect your life at every measure, even though that is a perceived the threat is just a perceived threat. It doesn't matter. Always have your gun ready. And I think that's very dangerous, especially when you have confirmation bias. You don't even have to be straight up racist. You could just have an irrational fear that you don't even realize you have. You may not realize that you have a bias against a different culture. You know what I'm saying? Just someone would, a tattoo all over their bodies. They look threatening. You think they're doing something wrong. You're ready to reach for your gun. And that's and the police, the policing with the community, there isn't any community policing anymore. And a lot of the police where their precinct is stationed, they don't even live in that community. They live somewhere far away from the community that they're policing for the most part, especially the cities, in urban areas. In urban areas. And the next, just before I get into the game, the next part of the reasoning is racism. You know what I'm saying? We have a history of racism. And racism, like, okay, put it this way. What we have done to poor communities, not just the black communities, a lot of poor communities. America created a lot of policies to create so much inequality in poor communities in America. And when we have all these policies like redlining, Jim Crow, excluding black people from the housing program during the New Deal, excluding black people from the GI Bill during the New Deal. I think I'm getting some sound interference, but whatever. These scenarios create a community that crime will prevail. Now, not to say that criminals are excused for being criminals, no, but America have a habit of creating societies of crime. Not create society of crime, of facilitating crime by creating poverty, facilitating crime by cutting schooling, education, cutting safety nets, cutting social security. I mean, when we keep on doing things like this, crime will prevail. Alright, gonna be a little challenging right now. Alright, so crime became a big problem because of poverty. And making a long story short. And we really got to find a better way to address crime. Okay, my headphones are bugging out all of a sudden. We got to find a better way to address crime. Better way to address. We got to find a better way to address the poverty scenario, a better way to address lack of resources in poor communities. Not just like I said, not just a black community, but just in general. I mean, we create the scenario, and we created the scenario. And okay, sorry, just playing this is getting hot and heavy. Hopefully they're not gonna pop an alt on me. And my headphones is bugging out all of a sudden. Alright. How did I miss her? Symmetra, that's not a good alt. Why would you do that? Okay, so yeah, so we poverty is one of the biggest factor of crime, but we're so stuck on this notion where we have where more policing is the only way to address crime, and it's unfortunate. Okay, I'm dead. Yeah, we are trained to believe that more policing is the only solution. Now, I understand that low hanging fruit mentality or well philosophy, but the main driver of crime is poverty. I mean, yes, you will have, you know, the occasion of mental health. Yes, you would have the occasion belief of, you know, responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And just because maybe, you know, you got a bad break in life doesn't excuse for doing wrong. 100% true. But that does not mean, oh Jesus, fuck, damn it. That is okay. Thank you, Zenyatta. Well, okay, I lost train of thought. So, yeah, this is going to be challenging playing video games and talking about social and world events and things like that. But yeah, yes, we have the obligation of doing the right thing. Ah, fuck. Yeah, what is our DPS doing, dude? Not a goddamn thing. Alright, let me get back in the game. What the hell's wrong with my headphones? No, we about to lose, guys. Fuck. Alright. So, yeah. So, like I was saying, yes, personal responsibility is important. But what we also have to take account is that the condition that create crime is the biggest problem. Like, we have invested in education, like the GI Bill, pre-K, and and other programs, and it always yields positive in our economy. You know, like for every dollar, like this one study, for every dollar you're putting into pre-K, within like a certain amount of years, maybe say like 10, 15 years, it yields like $7 back into our economy. Like it always reproduce. It always bring a positive. It is an investment that never fails, and we decide to cut it. Like, who does that? Think about it. If you invest into one project, or like in the stock market or whatever, and that investment always make money, and one day you decide, you know, let's not do it anymore, and let's invest in something that will always lose money. Like, that does not make any sense, but that's what America's doing. Let's cut it. Let's look at Social Security. That's another safety net that really help society. And what, you know, both Democrats and Republicans have been pushing is to cut it. I mean, they even have successfully, you know, moved funding from Social Security to pay for other things outside what it was originally was designed for. And now that it's not working properly, you see people on both sides of the aisle. Even Biden have been saying that it's not working and we gotta cut it. But the thing is, yeah, it's not working because we have been cutting it from the beginning. We have been defunding it. We have been moving funding away from Social Security to pay for other things that what Social Security is not to be, was not intended for. And now we're crying it doesn't work. It just seems so disingenuous. And like, why? It works. It always works. And we just decide to not do what always work anymore. Like, that does not make any sense. Okay, I had to kill her. I gotta do something about this headphones. My gaming headphones. They always work, and all of a sudden they don't want to work anymore. Oh God, don't die. Alright. There we go. You thought you got me, huh? You fat. Sir, give me a second. I gotta take care of this fool over here. Is there anybody else in here? No, they're not. Oh, damn it. So where was I? Where was I? Oh yeah. Cutting, like, what's caused poverty. Like, we cut Social Security. Alright, the housing program, you know what I'm saying? During the New Deal, I believe the GI Bill was part of the New Deal. And also, the housing program to give Americans homes. To invest Americans to the oh Jesus, help me, oh fuck, yeah. So housing program, like literally the first housing program that I think it was in its 40s when it first came out was designed to give Americans a chance to own a home, you know, financing, things of that nature. And the program in that bill, well, not bill, that law was written originally to deny black people the chance to be homeowners. Like, they cannot get the grants, they can't get that interest rates, like, and barred black people from being homeowners altogether. And that lasted for about almost 30 years. And that was a direct, that directly linked let me kill that bitch up there. That directly linked to why the wealth of homeowners is so yeah. So the housing market, back to the housing, no, not, yeah, housing market, the wealth where the what how can I explain it? The wealth that a family that can build from owning a home. Black people was denied that for over 30 years. Now, when you look at certain, um, what do you call it? When you look at certain, damn it, oh shit. Okay, this is gonna be a challenge. But when you look at certain neighborhoods where there was a big investment in building homes in suburbs for white America, there was a huge benefit, not benefit, I should say. There was a huge loss within the black community. Yeah, black people were denied being, having home ownership for over 30 years. And so the wealth that where black people can build from owning a home, they were denied. And not only denied that, during those 30 years, black people were denied of the income that they bring into the home have went down. Homes have gotten more expensive. Redlining have dropped the property value of where black people lived, and didn't even own the property where they lived. There were predatory home ownership scams that scammed black people from owning a home. They were promised for home ownership, but it turned out they were really renting all that time. And then, without any warning, that home was taken away from them. So that is one of the major drivers of why a lot of black communities are poor. It stemmed from the housing program in around the 50s. 40s, I believe, from the 40s up to the 70s. Eventually, they end that racist policy, because it was literally racist. It was so racist that it denied white people selling their homes to black people. Like, literally denied black people from being home owners for 30 years. Now, when we have this, so let's take it. And now, next thing that they did to the black community, they denied resources like roads and infrastructures and electricity, highways. I mean, Chicago, they purposely made sure major highways are not accessible to black communities. So it's hard for the black community. Like, if you got a job outside of your black neighborhood, it's going to be a pain in the ass for you to get there on purpose. And they don't even want you to get that job. They want you to stay in your poverty neighborhood and stay there. The highways purposely bypass the poor black neighborhoods. So all these things compounded onto the black community. I mean, even down to just representation. Going off a tangent of a little bit. When it comes to progressive policies, 70% of Americans are for it. I mean, that's both Republican and Democrats. But every single legislative politician that from your local level, state, and federal level, they're all against progressive policies. You know what I'm saying? It's like taxation without representation. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm beating her ass. Fucking Christ. Damn it. Yeah. So back to representation. Now that's just a tangent. But black people, for the most part, their voice were never heard in politics, in the government. And you know, we have been taxed a lot. You know what I'm saying? And we barely have any representation. Again, taxation without representation. Sound familiar? You know what I'm saying? I mean, white people went to war over tea. Wait, I think you need healing. Oh, there you go. Damn it. Yeah, so that's another thing that caused poverty in poor black neighborhoods is no representation. Now, I'm getting a fan request from, I don't remember playing, I haven't played that dude in a minute. Well, I gotta talk with that dude another time. But yeah, so now poverty, like again, poverty is the biggest reason of why crime prevailed so far. Oh shit, gotta run away. Come on. Yeah, so coming to the future now, you know, so I think I overstated, you know, poverty, militarization of the police. Going back to the militarization of the police, here's one of the biggest things, a problem. And there's a policy called qualified immunity. Oh, I think you was gonna alt out. Damn it. Qualified immunity. Now, you know, jumping back to the militarization police. Qualified immunity, for the most part, what it means, police could get away with whatever the fuck they want. And how do they do that? Well, what does qualified immunity really mean? That, okay, say that a cop done something wrong, right? Is there any precedents in qualified immunity that can say, hey, if a cop do XYZ, they will be held accountable by the law, and if that specific event, okay, pretty much, there's a book, right, of what a cop could not do, right, and it has to be specific. Something simple as, did you tie your shoe, your left shoe first and the right shoe second? If you didn't do it in that order, you could get away with it. Like, it got to be really specific. Like, okay, did the cop choke the person during when it was 3 o'clock in the morning? No. Okay, the cop could get away with it. I'm being really ridiculous, but is that ridiculous? I'm making a poor example of what it really is, but basically is that it has to be a specific thing that happened, and if that cop did that specific thing, then that cop is held accountable. If it's not that specific, then a cop could get away with it. And guess what? That book has nothing in it. It's an empty book of rules what a cop can't do. And that is weird how, qualified immunity is just so bizarre. It's literally just saying, you know what? A cop can do whatever they want. And if the state does not want to press charges, guess what? That cop is immune from any repercussion for their action. Period. And that is the scariest thing of what made a cop, the culture of the police. Is that, and you don't have to be a bad cop, but if a bad cop did something wrong, and they have that get out of jail free card. Now, not every state have to follow through with that. If a state want to prosecute, they can prosecute. But if they want to use qualified immunity, they can use qualified immunity. And the thing is, the people don't have that luxury. They don't have that ability to. Damn it. They don't have that luxury. Oh, Jesus, what the hell are we doing? Okay, I gotta switch. Oh, we lost our healer. Yeah. So, qualified immunity is a dangerous policy, baby. It pretty much just states that, a cop can do no wrong. That's basically the nutshell what qualified immunity is. And we gotta get rid of that. There's no place for that type of policy if we are striving to improve. What is Anna doing? Anna, you need to stay back and heal, baby. That's a brave fucking Anna. Okay, get the heal. My golden shower. But yeah. Oh, fuck. Here. Damn it. So yeah, qualified immunity. We got to get rid of that. That is one of the biggest factor of the culture of police. Because look, put it this way: we say that good cop, bad cop, is the bad apples. Now, the problem isn't good cop, bad cop. The problem is the culture, because it doesn't matter how many good cops you have. If bad cops can get away with doing wrong, and there's nothing a good cop could do about it, then what's the point of making the case for good cops? There is no case for good cops in our society. Fuck. There is no case for a good cop when we have policies that give good cops, get out of jail free card. And why, now coming back to my belief of why, there is nothing we can do about it. We have been for over a century protesting police violence, police brutality. Every time we address police brutality, protests come about, there's a study to what can we do about police brutality, right? For years, decades. And we always come up with the same solution every single year. we come up with the same solution. We come up with the same solutions. What can we do every year? And we never do them. Every single time there's a protest, there's a discussion, there's a debate, there's a what can we do about it talk, and we come up with solutions. We don't do the solutions. Then everything dies down. Then another 5, 10 years, another event happens. Then there's more protests. There's, it's like it's always going to happen, and it seems that there isn't any appetite to ever address the issue. That was close. Come back to me. Oh, thank you. Fuck. Damn it. Yeah. I don't think that there is a solution to the problem. We're always going to debate. We're always going to have protests. There's going to always be riots. And we're just going to talk about it. We're just going to come up with solutions. We're not going to follow through on the solutions. And we're just going to repeat when the next, George Floyd happens. It's sad. It's a sad, and that's what I believe. I mean, I don't think there's going to be anything we can do to change this problem. But the slight chance of this ever happening, this is the only way that will happen where I'm not holding my breath. If the American population, the citizens of America, if we can get citizens of America to understand how the government works. Because, look, the structure of the police, you have, state executive, you have your governor, and you have your presidents. They really are the big guys, when it comes to law enforcement, where the president is more or less on the federal level, the FBI, CIA and all that. Well, not so much CIA, but the FBI, Homeland Security and so on and so forth, the DEA, where state, you got your state trooper, I think also Rangers, if I'm not mistaken. And then local level, you got your police and your sheriffs and so on and so forth. For the most part, it is the the executive branch are the head of them, and legislation writes the law. So you got to know who's your councilman in your local level. You got to know who's your legislative politicians in your state level. For the most part, we see every day the federal level, Congress, where it's the House and and senators. But we got to understand how our government work. What laws help us when it comes to law enforcement and things like that. But the thing is, we're not aware, and I think it's on purpose. Like, we're just too busy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us have homes. Children. A lot of us got to work more than one job. Not everybody have that good job. Sometimes you got a lot of bills. What do you call it? Student loan debt and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. Oh shit. Yeah, it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? And it's really hard for the average American to understand the government, and the government is just made to be very confusing. Next thing we gotta understand, these police unions. They're not there for your best interests. Even the police interests, in my opinion. If you ask me, they're crazy. The police unions are crazy. They allow cops to get away with murder, and they would defend them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand they're like lawyers. You know what I'm saying? Everybody deserves representation, and because they deserve to have some level of. Anybody's pushing this? Anybody's holding? Still being contested by who? There we go. Advocacy. You know what I'm saying? I get that, but the police unions they're a problem. They're a goddamn problem. Oh fuck. The police unions are a goddamn problem. So if we can find a way to reel in the police union, the only way we can really reel them in is with legislative and understand how our government work. If the people could get behind and understand how to go, oh, why you do that? Oh, Farsha, get out of there. Yeah. That maybe that could help bring change and reform to the is us getting involved in government, understand how the government work. But like I said, it's a challenge because people are just too busy. What are we doing? We're not playing aggressive at all. Yeah, I mean, and that's really my 2 cents when it comes to, you know, police reform, and come on, why are we not playing aggressive? I try to win. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's my main point, main focus. I mean, we were over militarizing our police. Poverty is the biggest driver of crime, and black people. And a when you have a high concentration of poverty in black community, then you're gonna have a higher concentration of policing of black people, and that's why it just seems like this black on black crime, because the news only report of urban crime, and that's where most of the black people are. But I'm running in a tangent over there. But like I said, the only way we could really pull this in if people become more engaged in politics, understand how their government work, so they put people in place that know what they're doing, and knowing that they will make decisions to their own interests. Because I'm telling you this right now, people in government right now, the politicians in government, are not there for your interests. Like I said before, 70% of progressive policies, 70% of Americans agree to progressive policies, but not one, except for like a few. Bernie, for the most part, the squad, AOC's, from the squad is down for with progressive policies. There's a couple of new people who just won their primary. That's more likely going to be the Congress that's for progressive policies. But there's such a small minority. The rest of the politicians, they're not for progressive policies, and just by that, most politicians are not there for your interests. And when we can find a way to get politicians in place that actually listen to the people and actually vote, create laws by the will of the people, is when we'll see real change, especially with police reform. And that's pretty much all I really gotta say. I'm just really talking off the cuff, nothing scripted or anything like that. But that's just how I feel. That's what I think. What you guys think about that? Let me know if anybody's listening. Hey, and if you want to play with me in Overwatch on PlayStation, hit me up, man. Hit me up. God damn it. Alright, I'm going to be playing for the rest of the game. And also let me know if my gameplay sucks. Alright, so I'm just going to play this. There's not much I can say. I'm just going to finish this game. Where are you going? Stay with your healers. You know what? I'm not healing her anymore. We're gonna see if there's something wrong with this thing. Yeah, I think I fixed it. No, I did not. All right, guys. Talk to you guys soon. Easy.